Welcome to the show with no name on WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York. I'm Bob Going with Gavin Murdoch and Jim Nikosha. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Bob.
Sir?
All right. Okay. I think I turned the machine on. Did I turn the camera on? I know you can't tell because I flipped it over. Oh well. Let's hope so. Otherwise, all the best laid plans.
Yes.
All right. We're going to do a little something we don't do often. A little nostalgia here.
You usually do a lot of nostalgia.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess we do. All right. The year is 1939. What's that, 75 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah?
Okay. It's widely considered the greatest year in the history of motion pictures.
Okay.
There were more great movies made that year than any other. And then, of course, the war kind of interferes with things after that, and everybody's, off to war, and including the technicians and everything. So it's not until, you get the 50s when they start doing the CinemaScope and all that stuff that the movies start bouncing back. But 1939, Gone with the Wind, Drums Along the Mohawk, Wuthering Heights, Wizard of Oz, on and on and on. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Wow. There were 5 gentlemen nominated that year for Best Actor. Okay? Clark Gable in Gone with the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Laurence Olivier for Wuthering Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Stewart for Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. The ultimate winner, Robert Donat for Goodbye, Mr. Chips. And who was the 5th nominee that year?
Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney for Babes on Broadway. And every one of those performances, all 5 of those were probably the greatest performances any of those individuals did, all in that same year. So, of course, we lost Mickey Rooney yesterday. They announced it yesterday, I guess. He was the number 1 box office draw in 1938, 1939, and 1940. And that's an astonishing thing when you think about it, because
Look at the other great actors that were performing at the time.
Yeah, and his, in a sense, the movies he was in were kind of, they didn't have a lot in special effects and things like that. There were some exceptions. What was that? Fishing ship movie did with Spencer Tracy and Freddie Bartholomew. What was that called?
Old Man in the Sea. Oh, no, Captain's Courageous.
Captain's Courageous, yeah. Yeah, there were a few movies like that were, legitimate blockbuster type movies. But, the Andy Hardy movies were churned out on the back lot in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And all those backyard musicals.
And they weren't thought-provoking either.
No.
They were entertainment.
Yes.
It was
Entertaining, but, there was a certain amount of thought-provoking, but there wasn't Shakespeare, right?
No.
But he was one of those actors who made everything he was in better by his presence. He worked harder than anybody in the studio. I don't know how many movies he made with Judy Garland, quite a few. He's the one who's really working in those. She's got the talent and going through the motions, but he's given it all he's got. Just incredible stuff, and his performance in Babes on Broadway was out of this world. He was playing the drums, he was doing impressions, he was singing, he was dancing, he was acting. It was just great, and of course it's largely forgotten today. And you certainly don't, when you say 1939, Babes on Broadway isn't what jumps out. But great performance. So. Anyway, I recently saw Midsummer Night's Dream, the extravaganza that Warner Brothers put out in about, 1933 or so. Mickey Rooney must have been about 10 years old, 11.
He played Puck, didn't he?
Played Puck. Over the top. Out of this world. Terrific. You know, he's a kid. I think he made his first movie when he was 4 or 5. I mean, he goes back to the silent era. You think of the big stars of Hollywood's golden age. There were maybe 2 left before he died: Mickey Rooney and Olivia de Havilland. And she's it. She's the only one left. She's about 96, 97, something like that.
Wow.
And he was still working. He's got a TV show. He did a TV show recently that hasn't been aired yet. And supposedly he's in a major motion picture, and they're not announcing what it is because his appearance in it was going to be a surprise. But it's a movie that's been wrapped, apparently, or at least his performance has. So we're going to see him a couple more times before he goes. Last time he was in that The Return of the Muppets, or whatever that was called. Came out.
St. Manhattan?
No, that was a different one. It wasn't the Muppet movie, because that was the first. I don't know. The recent Muppet, not the one that just came out, but the one before that, where they came out of retirement. The Muppets all came out of retirement to save their old theater. It was a good movie, actually, and he's in an unbilled cameo. And, amazing. He was working to 93. That's not bad.
Did any of his wives outlive him?
There is a current wife who has outlived him, apparently, but they've been separated for some time. He considered himself a bachelor. You know, he was dating Margaret O'Brien.
Really?
Who's also married to somebody else, but also separated. But she just looked at him as the older man, you know, because she was like 8 years old and he was 23 when they met, you know, something like that. But he took her out for Valentine's Day.
Huh.
Yeah. She's 77, by the way, little Margaret O'Brien. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Howdy doody.
Hey, I figured you'd call.
Yeah, you knew I would.
Yeah.
Born September 23rd, 1920 in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
His first movie, 1927.
Yeah, there you go.
Titled Orchids and Ermine. They don't say Ermine, ooh.
Dave, are you reading that off the computer, or you remember this?
50-50.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a computer. But I've got Ephraim Katz's film encyclopedia. I've got 3 different editions. Anyway, you might want to look that up.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us more.
Anyway.
Go ahead, we got an hour.
Legend has it that his father, Joe Ewell Sr.,
right,
was a good friend of Keaton.
Yes.
And appeared in some of Keaton's movies. Steamboat Bill's the one I remember. And Keaton welcomed having Mickey on the set. And I guess that might be where Mickey got his film bug.
Well, Mickey's early his childhood stuff was very similar to the childhood stuff of Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton was in a show business vaudeville family, and from the age of 5 or so, the part of the act was sort of throwing the kid into the orchestra pit and things like that. And
he was brain injured?
No, he rolled with the punches. But Mickey Rooney did a lot of the same kind of physical humor as a youth. I mean, you see him as Puck, and you could see Buster Keaton as a kid doing that part. Yeah.
And according to this, now this is not the newest edition, but the last movie listed here was his voiceover for Little Nemo in '92.
Oh no, he made one after the Muppet movie.
He made at least a couple.
He's made at least 3 since the Muppet movie, actually. Yeah.
And according to this, he only had 8 wives. I know that's not enough.
No, that's true. He ended up with 8 wives.
I thought he had a 9th one.
No. He's just dating Margaret. That's all.
Number 1 was Ava Gardner.
Now he married Ava Gardner before she was Ava Gardner. I mean, her name was Ava Gardner, but she was like 18 and nobody knew who she was.
Yeah, 1942 and 3.
Yeah.
And his third, I think, was one of the prettiest girls in the history of Hollywood, Martha Vickers. 1949 to 51.
That long?
Yeah.
One of them was killed or something. I can't remember. The number's 5 or 6.
I'm trying to look quick, see how many, if it mentions here how many he made with Garland.
How many movies or how many
in 38,
children?
he shared a special Academy Award with Deanna Durbin
Yeah.
for juvenile.
Yeah, they used to do those juvenile awards, yeah.
She was another beauty.
What a voice.
Yeah. And most of her movies, the first thing, wherever it's set, is a song. She saved Universal.
There you go.
She did. And Lamely Jr. said so more than once. But I was trying to... I don't see a number here for how many he was in with Garland. I heard it was somewhere near 20.
Could be.
And she was only 2 years his junior.
And looked a lot younger. I think the first picture she's in, she's playing like a 12-year-old, and he's like the senior in high school or something.
Yeah, they're first together, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, her first picture was, I think it was the first, Lassie. And she just glowed even then.
Yeah.
But let's see, when was Midsummer Night's Dream?
Midsummer Night's Dream, I think, was 33.
30, well, let's see here. I don't see it listed. Where is it? There we are, as Puck. 35.
35, that late, huh? Wow.
But maybe they wanted him that old to carry all the makeup and all that. Let alone the lines. Because that's not normal speech for a 15-year-old.
Oh, he mastered it. He would still...
oh, he did, yeah.
He would always end his personal performances with his closing line from Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah.
Well, I know he liked it. Well, Dieterle that was one of the better admired and respected directors for Hollywood, too.
Yeah. So it was an extravaganza. I can't believe they spent that much money on a Shakespeare movie, but they did. Yeah.
Yeah, who was it? Norma Shearer?
Norma Shearer was in that, yeah. Love Norma Shearer.
And, Saturday morning...
She was married to Irving Thalberg, of course.
Or you worry too much about it. See, 10:30, for a couple of years now, TCM has run a series. They just started with part 1, or number 1 of 7, or 6, Mexican Spitfire. After that, roughly 11:45 to noon, they just started with part 1 of the history of MGM, narrated by Patrick Stewart and paid for by TCM. And I'll tell you, boy, some of the film clips in there,
Well, they own the whole MGM library. That shouldn't be too hard.
Oh, yeah. But they made this with all these clips. I don't know. Well, the first one only went from 1924 to 36. They ended with Thalberg's death. He was only 37. My God. But he was married to Norma Shearer. But so only 12 years this time. So I don't know how many parts it has. I suspect that I would guess at least 4. And Stewart's not a bad choice. He's a good narrator. I just don't. How much did he have to do with MGM?
Probably nothing at all. Probably nothing whatsoever.
Maybe.
But he's a great narrator.
Yes,
it was either going to be him or Morgan Freeman doing this. You know that.
Oh.
But Patrick Stewart, of course, captained the Starship Enterprise for a number of years, and
how many did he make? 3.
Of the movies?
Yeah.
At least, yeah. Now, my son's mother-in-law is a Trekkie. She's a Star Trek fanatic. Okay, and through the courtesy of the general manager of this station, my son once presented her with an autographed poster of Shatner, Nimoy, and I forget who else.
Kelly.
No, I think he was dead by that time. But in any event, Patrick Stewart was in town, and one of my son's technical friends was working on the play that Stewart was in, so he got he got Patrick Stewart to autograph a picture for the mother-in-law, and it says, to Mary Lynn, you have the most awesome son-in-law in the universe. Signed,
He would know.
Signed Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Yeah.
Now, see, I could not get into even the TV series because of the hoopla when Harlan Ellison sued to have his name taken off it as the original story because of what they did to it. I said, well, if they don't even have that kind of respect for the original author, to hell with it. So I just could not get into the Star Trek.
Well, pick it up on Netflix sometime. It's not bad. All right.
Well, what, the series or the movies?
Both.
Oh, Netflix has it all. Anyway, have you ever read Richard Russo's Straight Man?
Straight Man? No.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of his books, but I didn't read that one.
Yeah. Well, when my daughter-in-law called me to wish me happy birthday 3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Well, happy birthday. Sorry we missed it again.
She asked me about Straight Man because she and my son both love Russo. And I had told her I just finished reading part 1 and 2 there, Mohawk and Risk Pool. And she said, well, have you ever read Straight Man? I said, Dill, I call her Dill for daughter-in-law. I said, Dill, I never even heard of that one. Well, 9 days later, here it is in the mail.
There you go.
So I'm about halfway through it.
Now, Mohawk, was that the one that had the really brilliant description of the Fond Affair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those two.
It's one of the two,
Now,
yeah.
to think,
They didn't call it Fonda.
What boggles what's left of my mind is Mohawk is his first novel. That is such smooth writing.
Well, you know, when you write a good first one, you get to write the second one. That's.
I guess that's the trade-off. Yeah. Now, I didn't care for Risk Pool as much. It was good, but not as much. And there were only 2 or 3 of the medium characters in it from Mohawk. But when they call it Nathan Littler Hospital, something's up.
Oh, there was all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, he's got more.
Oh, yeah.
He's got
He admitted it.
More obvious.
Although he left Gloversville when he was 18.
He's got more obvious stuff than I did in my novel, even, which was.
But you wrote
obvious.
novels too?
Yes. The Evil Has Landed. It's a murder mystery. It's quite good, actually.
The Eagle Has Landed.
The Evil has landed. The
E-V-I-L.
Yes, the moon landing.
Or E-V-E-L.
E-V-I-L. And
so it's not.
No, it's not Evel Knievel.
I guess it won't be Evel Knievel.
No, but there's a moon landing sub-theme in there. Yeah.
Yawned. But to think that that was his first one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who knew?
That's staggering to me.
Yes.
Because they claim everybody has at least one book in them.
Really? Do you?
I don't know. I thought I might. I wrote a bunch of short stories when I was a kid. Most of those got lost somewhere along the way. Right now, I've collected 2 short stories, 1 essay called "Maybe I'm Getting Old," and I wrote it when I was 40.
That was a long time ago, Dave.
That goes back a ways. And 2 author profiles, because I had met John D. MacDonald and Walter D. Edmonds and interviewed both of them. But that's all I've got that I would dare admit I wrote.
There you go.
So I have not yet approached a real book. I suppose I ought to get started.
You should.
But I can't write about Amsterdam.
Why not?
I don't think anybody's going to beat a hometown book like Mohawk. I don't think anybody can.
Really?
I don't know. I'll have to chew on that a tad with my wooden teeth.
Okay.
And one other first novel that threw me was Barbara Taylor Bradford. Her first one, Woman of Substance, was made into a mini-series 30 years ago. Over 800 pages. I'm amazed they published that as a first novel. And of course, she's still going as far as I know. I didn't think they'd go for that much.
Well,
But apparently somebody did, and it paid off. It was worth it to them.
Yeah.
Anything else you want about Rooney?
no, that's about it. That's about-
TCM, they're doing that, right now between movies. They're doing the
Yeah.
TCM Remembers.
Yeah. Yeah. Also
But
available
I
on the
think it
internet.
said at the end. I haven't. I'll catch it sometime today. I think it's next Sunday. They're running the whole day with his stuff.
It's good stuff.
I think it's next Sunday. But
Okay.
keep an eye on TCM
Okay.
because they do that for the biggies.
And he's a biggie.
And last Thursday was Doris Day because she turned 90.
Yes.
That's scary. Oh, well. And onward and upward.
Okay.
Stay warm or dry. What are we supposed to hit today? I heard close to 60.
Well, it was 52 when I left the house, so I imagine
We could.
so. Yeah.
It could get there.
Yeah.
And then snow flurries overnight.
I don't want to hear about it. Thank you, David.
I know. Snow is just another four-letter word, right?
Yeah.
All righty.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
See ya. Thanks, Dave.
Bye, Dave.
Okay. All right. One more little note. Speaking of antiques, Bobby Doerr turned 96 yesterday. The last of the Red Sox teammates.
Ted.
Had the honor of meeting him a few years back. Sometimes things just happen perfectly. It's May 21st, 2005. Okay, it's right after the Red Sox had won the World Series for the first time the previous fall, and the championship trophy is on display in Cooperstown. So we take the family down there and we go to the Hall of Fame, and we're wandering around, and my son Bob comes over to me. He says, "I think I just saw Bobby Doerr in the next room." I'm thinking, how does this kid know who Bobby Doerr is? Bobby Doerr played in 1946, for God's sakes, to the early 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a baby when he retired. Okay, and he says, "Yeah, he's an old guy with suspenders. They're taking him. The guards are taking him around." And they're going, sure enough, here's Bobby Doerr, and he's approaching the exhibit that they have for the Red Sox season of the previous year. Including Curt Schilling's bloody sock is on display, and nobody's noticed him except my son. So I head straight over toward him, and I put out my hand, and he puts out his. He says, "Bobby Doerr." I said, "I know who you are." So for the moment, it's just the two of us talking, and then a crowd starts to gather, and I'm with him when he sees Schilling's sock for the first time, and he shakes his head and says, "Boy, that's really something, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, Bobby, that's really something." And I told him how I had. I pointed out my son in the crowd, and I told him how, when Doerr was inducted into the Hall of Fame, I had taken my Bobby down to Cooperstown and threw him on my shoulders so that he could get a close-up look of these guys as they're coming in. I didn't tell him I was really showing off Ted Williams, but we were there for his induction.
Sometimes the stars line up just the right
They
way.
just line up just right, And my Laura got to meet Johnny Pesky before he died too. So.
They named a pole after him, didn't
They did. They named the pole after him. Probably was a pole. Pesky a pole?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would think. Pesky.
Well, I don't know. I spell it with a Y, though. I don't know. We'll have to look that up. Maybe Dave can look that up for us. Anyway, this is WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York. This is the show with no name. 843-2500 is the number if you got anything to talk about. Jim, did you go to the Third Ward meeting last night?
I didn't. I was going to, and I looked at the clock. I says, what are they going to tell me that I don't know?
Yeah, but maybe they could draw on your wisdom.
You could have shared.
You could have shared some of the things you do know, or you just hold it.
At this time,
You
I
just
have
save
no
it.
wisdom. My wisdom is gone.
And save it all for this. Okay. Now, you missed the podcast on Friday,
Yes, I did.
at which time we discussed the Amsterdam versus Amsterdam lawsuit, which
Amsterdam won.
Amsterdam won. I'm not going to rehash what I had to say there. You can watch it on Facebook. But interestingly, things kind of turned out more or less the way I had predicted, a little different. But in fact, Joe Morendo is
It looks like.
has a job. He's the city seems to have taken over the carts. They they let him keep the pro shop. So
They're going to pay him a higher salary, I believe.
they're paying him more than twice what they were paying him, I think, or about twice what they were paying
Yeah,
him.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good deal.
Yeah, well, we don't know what he made on the carts, but with the city running it, it should be they should make about half of that.
I don't know, what are the facts are about the meeting they had, but the rumor has it that you can no longer keep your carts in storage unless you're there now. They're grandfathering in people that are storing their carts there and using them at the cart. And from now on, you can't get in the barns with a cart.
Well, what are they going to do with the barns? They built them so that people could store their carts
I
there.
have no idea. I have no idea.
So where are the people going to have to keep their carts?
They can't.
They're going to have to
They
take them
can't-
with them.
They either. I don't even know if they can trailer them in, but
Yeah, I think they can do that.
I guess they want the golfers to rent carts at the course.
Oh, I see. That okay.
All new members.
All right.
All new members cannot.
Now, people who live in the neighborhood anyway, they were driving up to the gate by the first. Is that the first tee or the first hole? I forget. Whatever.
Third hole, isn't it?
The corner of
Evelyn.
Van Dyke and Chapel?
the corner of Chapel and Golf Course, or Van Dyke, Upper Van Dyke.
Not Chapel.
See, I just went back to my youth because that used to be Golf Course Road.
Yeah.
When you got to that corner.
Right.
Golf course, because what's currently called Golf Course Road did not connect with Route 30 at that time. And when they made the connection, they changed part of Golf Course Road to Upper Van Dyke.
Right.
But Golf Course Road used to just go up around the golf course, and there were no intersections. There was no intersection. So anyway.
That's Evelyn Avenue, I believe, isn't it?
No.
It's not Chapel.
Well, there's a gate at Evelyn also. I
Yeah.
believe, but there's also a gate at Chapel.
Yes, right.
And
yeah, right.
and members, I guess, had a key to the lock, and they'd drive their carts in.
Yeah.
So, in my neighborhood, you'd see the golf carts running up the street.
It's going to be interesting to see what eventually happens to the course and what this fiasco is going to do to the course, or how it's going to enhance the city. I have no idea.
Well, at the moment, things seem to have calmed down, which I think is
That's a good thing.
That's a very good thing, and it was not heading in a calm down direction. As long as things stay steady, but we'll see. I mean, but we start off on kind of a half a bad foot because the Corporation Council negotiates a deal with Morendo over the weekend, and the mayor promptly reneges on it at the meeting. So we'll see. I mean, it was going to be a 2-year deal, and now it's a 1-year deal. But if it doesn't work out, there's still the Charter Commission can change things, and there's plenty of time to maneuver. And of course, you could fire him tomorrow if he's an employee. It's not clear to me that that's what they've done, but I think that's what they've done. If he's an employee, then he's entitled to health insurance and all that stuff. I don't know.
Which he wasn't particularly interested in at the time. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he'll be Medicare eligible soon enough. God. Soon enough, yeah, I guess so.
2 years, I guess, right?
He was 63, right?
I'm 63. He's 2 years older than me. I will be 63, so he'll be 65 this year. Yeah. I don't know whether Medicare is now 66 or not, but I'm not. I suppose I should start looking into that, shouldn't I?
Oh, you could be next.
I could be next. I could be next. So that's that. And then there's the budget issues. You following that, Jim?
No, but I did look at it on the website.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but I didn't study it. I got to print it out in order to look at it properly. You got to.
You really do have to have
look
a
at the
copy in
pages.
hand.
You got to be
Yeah.
able to go back and forth.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. I didn't do that. Let's see what comes up first.
Yeah,
Let's see what the arguments are going to be first. Then I'll look at it and see if I can draw anything out of it that they don't, which I shouldn't be able to do because.
Now, you keep hearing that the books are almost done. The books are almost done. The books are almost done, but they still haven't. They still haven't closed out the books from 2011 or 2012 yet. So
They keep saying it doesn't matter if there's a fund balance or not from last year,
As long as the budget balances.
because the budget they're coming up with is going to be based on revenues, predicted revenues, and
Yeah.
expenditures. So they don't have to depend on the fund balance.
Yeah.
If they do everything properly, they're going to have enough money. Of course.
I don't see how that's possible. I don't see how that's possible. The costs have gone up. The revenues ran short. So I don't see how if she keeps all the positions that she
wants new positions.
that she added in, I don't see how it can possibly work that way unless you make up. By make up, I mean imagine revenue sources that aren't there.
Well, they're saying there's going to be a 3% or 4% increase in sales tax revenue.
Really?
That's what the paper said the other day.
Oh, must be true.
Well, everything on the internet is true, isn't it?
That's what Abraham Lincoln told me.
It's going to be interesting. I should have printed it out, but they make so many changes before.
Yeah.
Before
They haven't actually even started discussing it yet, have they? The Common Council.
No, the council hasn't. She put it on the website without giving it. Well, maybe she did give it to the council members. I
think that was simultaneously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's hope things turn out all right, and let's hope that somebody knows what they're doing. Up till now, it hasn't happened, but
Well,
it's always possible. There are awful lot of outside people keeping an eye on it at this point.
Well, that one woman that's helping them straighten the books up, she said that everything looks fine. She says there's no money missing. It was just not posted in the right accounts. So supposedly she's got most of that all squared away, and the other guy, I forget what he was doing.
Yeah, well, no money missing is good, I guess.
Well, yeah.
That doesn't mean they didn't misspend it. That doesn't mean they didn't spend money they didn't have.
Well, they did do that. We know they did.
Yeah,
do that.
there's been admissions that they did that. So I mean, it does make a difference, particularly in the capital accounts, where supposedly
Exactly.
the capital accounts were spent far more than was put in the accounts. So
spent.
that has to be made up somewhere.
And they spent money that shouldn't have been spent because it was money for certain things.
Right.
They were earmarked,
It
and
was earmarked for.
Yeah.
So if they replace that money, it's got to come from somewheres.
Now, at some point, they're going to get a windfall from the county from the dissolution of the insurance trust. But
Well, a windfall. Yeah.
well, I mean, it's money they haven't otherwise accounted for
Well,
at this
yeah.
point,
Or maybe they did account.
or maybe they did. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I see George Amador is going to
Challenge
do Ally
Patrick.
Fraser too, or
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he only lost by 18 votes.
something like that, or yeah.
And all my family.
It'll be-
But I got to say, I got to talk my family into voting for him this time because
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Katchik She made some statements while she was running that she was not for the SAFE Act, the Gun Act, and after she became our senator, she voted for it
Immediately.
and that was one of the reasons why I voted for her. Because she said she wasn't for it, that she was against it. That she flip-flop on that one because she...
Well, that's a big one. That's a pretty big one to flip-flop on.
That's right. She got everybody's vote, and then she changed her mind. I asked her that on the air one day, and she said, I never said that. I said, yes, you did. I said, yes, you did.
Well, okay, so they'll let her stick to her new position and see where that gets her. Okay. What else we got? Of course, we got, I guess the undersheriff is going to be the Republican candidate, or is he just one of several people interested in it for the assembly?
So far, he's the only one I heard.
Anybody asked you to run, Gavin?
No.
Okay. Jim?
No, nobody's
No,
asked
me neither. So, okay, so he's a candidate then.
That's right. It's not us.
I've been thinking about it, though.
Have you? Good. Good. Keep thinking. Keep thinking.
I think about a lot of things, but...
Gavin, what's going on in the school district?
Well, we have a new athletic director who's the old athletic director.
Well, explain.
Yeah, Bob Noto is now interim athletic director for the Greater Amsterdam School District, and he will be so until the end of the year. The prior one, Randy Huddle, left last week, and we've asked Bob Noto to fill in at least through the end of the year. Bobby used to be the athletic director some 3-4 years ago, and then
Is he retired now?
he is retired now. Yeah, and now he's coming back to fill in and do all the administrative duties for the athletic director. And this is probably the worst time of year to be an athletic director, because you've got baseball and softball, and with the weather in the great Northeast, games invariably get rescheduled.
Right.
And sometimes rescheduled a number of times.
Rescheduled and rescheduled.
So, and that's going to be one of his prime
Somebody's trying to call you guys.
responsibilities. So we're glad to have him back. I'm sure he'll do a great job, and we look forward to working with him through the end of the year. He's very knowledgeable. He's been a coach.
So what happened to the previous athletic director?
He left.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Whoa. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm just terrific. How about you, Gavin?
Jim Dandy.
Jimmy?
I'm Jim.
Okay.
I'm Jim.
Okay. I'm glad everybody's great. Joe's contract, he is a contract employee.
Uh-huh.
He is not an employee of the city.
All right, so he gets to keep his job no matter what. All right.
But it's only until October 31st. They originally negotiated, Jerry and the pro and Eddie Russo negotiated a 2-year contract, and then it was presented to the mayor, and she said she wouldn't go with anything except a 1-year contract.
Okay.
So last night the council voted 3-1 for a 1-year contract.
And has the mayor signed it yet?
No, because it's being reviewed by Doug Landon, Joe's attorney.
Okay.
Because he was out of town.
Yeah. Okay.
So it hasn't been signed yet.
All right.
And, of course, I objected to it. I thought going from a 3-year to a 1-year contract was not a good faith negotiation. Jerry was very, very nice, very accommodating from what I understand. But the mayor said no to 2 years. So
Okay.
I didn't consider that in good faith, but I was just one. So I voted against it.
Obviously, someone was absent from the meeting. Who is that?
Valerie's on vacation.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, and we're going to be taping all of our budget meetings this week while she's gone, because we didn't feel that we could put them off that long.
Right.
So But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that he will not be a city employee. He
Okay.
will be a contract employee.
All right, that settles that issue. And the salary is, or the contract amount is substantially more than he was getting, but without the carts, correct?
That's correct. It's $45,000.
Yeah.
He gets everything from the pro shop. He supplies it, and he keeps the sales.
Okay.
He does golf lessons and some other minor things. I don't know what they are, but he has nothing to do with the carts. The city is leasing 30 carts, and we more or less agreed on the figure last night, but it has to be looked at to be sure that's what they want to do.
Now, I don't know if you heard what Jim had heard earlier, that that there would no longer be golf storage, golf cart storage for members at the course. Is that true?
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
Because they get quite a bit of revenue from that right now.
Yeah.
I think if you want, right now, I don't see how, first of all, that the cart revenue is going to work out for them the way they think it's going to.
I don't think it will.
Yeah, we had that discussion earlier.
Yep. And
Call me skeptical.
Yep. The other issue is they've lost several tournaments, and they've lost quite a few members.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be a good year for the golf course. And I think if they try to tell people joining now that they can't have cart storage anymore, when all the other courses in our immediate area are now offering cart storage to compete with us.
Yeah.
What I heard was if you have cart storage there now, you're grandfathered in, that you'll continue until you run out, but no new cart storages.
You can keep your cart if you like it.
Yeah, we trust them.
That seems a little difficult in light of everybody else.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to weigh that
But
out.
in any event, that has not been determined by the Golf Commission at this point, I would assume.
No.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge. And I mean, I have gone to their meetings. I plan on going to their meeting on Thursday night, 6 o'clock.
By the way, do we know who's on the Golf Commission anymore? Is there still a dispute? You guys...
There's only 4 people right now, unless they make an appointment.
City residents.
Michelle Russo is the chairman, and her father is the liaison. Dave Putman, and what the other gal's name?
But the
There's 2 more people. There's not a 5th person.
The 2 that the council dismissed are off. Is that correct?
That is correct. They are off. They resigned appropriately.
Okay.
So that wasn't an issue.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Very good. Thanks,
thank you.
Diane.
Diane.
Have a good day.
Wait.
Bye-bye.
Diane, have you...
Too late. What were you going to ask her?
I was going to ask her if they had scheduled a budget meeting. Did she mention?
I think they're meeting tonight. Is the first
Is that
meeting.
what she said?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I think I saw that on Facebook. Yeah. She lists. She does a very good job of keeping the public informed, at least on Facebook, as to what's going on. Yeah, she's got a whole list of what's going on this week, and there we go. Okay. Anyway. So, I don't know. I ain't tired of talking about golf. That's now that the course is ready to open. And after this weekend, I'm kind of tired of talking about baseball, too. So, Shapers. Well,
There you go.
more. There's more. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Yeah, your line was busy for quite a while.
Yes.
I have a couple questions for Gavin. The first is rec softball going to happen this year, and how many teams have signed up? Have you heard anything?
I've heard nothing. I just know that the Post 701 is going to have a team.
Whether anybody plays or not. Plays or
Yeah.
not.
I don't know, Dave. I haven't heard anything about the softball. I know they had sign-ups a couple weeks ago, but I don't know how
I know
many teams.
the price per team went up, I think, didn't it?
I think it's gone up every year for the last several years. Yeah.
And the second thing is you're on the school board, and is there a woodworking shop in the school anymore?
No, not in our school. The BOCES program that our students go to have a carpentry program up there, as well as electrical, plumbing, auto body, auto repair, nursing. They've got
All that stuff's done by BOCES now.
That's all done by BOCES, absolutely. And
I can't get my oil changed at the high school anymore.
no, Vern is not there to change oil.
Oh, darn
No,
it.
but you know, and a lot of the programs up there, you know, the students enroll in it, and by the time they come out from the BOCES program, they are classified as apprentices after taking the exams and can walk into, you know, a pretty nice paying job. I mean, the quality of the program at BOCES, you know, has stepped up a lot, and it's not the way it used to be.
Why I'm saying that is I know you probably have a pipeline to them. I was thinking on Lynch number 1, those stairs that used to be there that go from down on the field up to the top of the bank, I don't even think they're there anymore. I was thinking of a project either by them or school or players to get together and build something like made out of pressure-treated lumber or something to, you know, there's a lot of old people that still play and umpire.
Hey, you know what? If they can't make the hill, maybe they shouldn't be playing.
Well, you know.
Well, that was, yeah, I remember that was a long time ago those were there.
You guys probably remember that back.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely.
Remember the water fountain there, too.
Yep, right.
And the dugouts.
I remember the spring on the side of the hill on the other side.
Yeah. But I haven't heard how many teams are playing this year or how they're dividing them up either.
Yeah, well,
There will be
idea, but
softball.
It's probably not going to go anywhere.
It's still have softball in the city.
Is,
Small as it may be. I remember when there were 64 teams in the city.
And that wasn't that long ago.
The turf field at Shuttleworth Park definite?
I believe they started.
I think so.
Stripping it and putting it in. I don't know how long that's going to take for them to get that up there. There was an article in the paper the other day about it.
I believe that's pretty definite. Whether it's going to be done this year or next year, I'm not sure. But
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of Shuttleworth, Shuttleworth Park. You know, we got Dave Hughes called last week and brought to our attention that the 100th anniversary is coming up, and I passed this along to the mayor, and Robbie Spagnola is already on the case and is looking forward to doing something to commemorate, which will be Memorial Day. It opened Memorial Day 1914.
Right.
The park when it was Crescent Park. I don't know whether it was. You know, some of these things were designed to collect fares from the trolleys, and I think that may have been one of them. There weren't enough people going to Hageman, so they built Crescent Park to get
people to go there.
Yeah, gives
Build it and they will come.
right.
There you go.
Yeah,
100 years.
amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. You know, transfer. I loved it. You know, it's the one thing I really like about going to Disney World. There's so many nice things. I have so much fun just riding on the horse-drawn trolley. You know, just going around the block there on Main Street, USA. It must have been really neat in the olden days. You know, those taking the trolleys through the streets. There's still a few. New Orleans still has trolleys, of course, San Francisco, but aren't too many places that have them. It's neat. You know, just hop on board, tip your hat.
Tip the driver.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, we lived just down the street from a wood yard where they sold wood to homeowners, and he delivered by horse and wagon.
Wow.
And he had a dump wagon, and whenever he was out delivering, we were on the back of that wagon. That was our fun.
Well, things are innocent.
among other things.
Yeah. I think that's how my grandfather got kicked in the head by a horse when he was 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to ride the horses into the stable. They'd put us on the horse's back and lead the horse into the stable. And you had to put your head down because it was low. I guess a couple kids hit their head going in.
Low bridge, everybody down.
Hey, I know that song. Low Bridge, we're coming to a town.
On the E Canal. Yeah. My grandmother, my mother's uncle used to be a mule driver on the canal.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He used to talk about him. You know, that was the big thing that changed the westward expansion. We kind of think of New York State being in the east, but when that canal got put in and what it connected Wisconsin to New York City, basically.
All right.
Because you use the Great Lakes, it changed the whole way of
I forget what the exact figures were, but it was something like, flour went from $50 a sack to 50 cents a sack because of the Erie Canal. Yeah.
The cost of transportation went way down.
It opened up the whole, and then they...
Halfway across the country.
Really, more than that. I mean, I think today, using the existing system, you could go inland waterways. I think without taking your canoe out of the water, almost to Yellowstone Park from here. With the locks and such. Because the Mississippi is connected to the Great Lakes.
Through Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
In the Ohio River and all that stuff, and then you go up you can go up to Missouri, almost all the way to Yellowstone, locked. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all uphill from there, but you could get there.
Yeah.
I never understood when I was a kid how the water could flow north out of the Great Lakes out to the Atlantic. It took me a long time to understand that.
Well, it's been a big problem for Russia for years, because most of their major rivers flow north.
That's right.
And where does it take you to? The Arctic Circle. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, that's always been their big push to get some warm weather ports to Crimea.
Like Crimea. Well, thank God they've got Crimea now, right? Wow.
Hopefully that's all they get.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get some more.
Well, I don't know. Did you kind of bluff their way through this? And the deal is they get to keep Crimea. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to settle it. Does this sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
So they send in the agitators to get the border towns.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The same old game still works today.
Yeah.
And if you really go back, it goes back a long way. It goes a long way back.
He says, who dares start another war?
Yeah. Hey, you're over Crimea.
Yeah.
And he's getting what he wants.
The immortal words of Adolf Hitler, who remembers the Armenians? That's,
Yeah. We'll see.
Well, we will see. I don't know. What do we got? Nothing exciting's happening here.
Nah, which is good.
I
Sometimes
guess that's
no
good.
excitement is good. A good thing.
We're back on our 10 o'clock. Oh, maybe everybody's waiting for 11 o'clock for us to come on.
There you go.
Maybe they're just skipping the Rick Morrison.
Yeah, so we didn't make the announcement last week.
Well,
on
we
this
didn't
radio.
know. We didn't know until we went off the air that we were moving back to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
We did it on the podcast. I did announce it on Facebook this morning, but.
Now you're going to be co-pilot next Tuesday, Jim, because I'm going to be away in Kentucky. At Kentucky to see my grandchildren.
Oh, very nice.
How many you got now?
Very nice.
I got two, but they're sad. Kentucky got beat last night.
Yeah, but they got there.
But they got beat.
Yeah, they did get beat. But they all, they came back. It was
pretty good. But since now those players are going to be back, they're one and done. They're going to have to start all over with another freshman-laden team next year.
This is like an all-freshman team.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Again, even that was Calipari's. That's his style. Brings in a great group of freshmen that are really great, and they're gone next year, and he starts all over again.
They got a good athletic program. They certainly developed some good baseball players who all end up playing here in the summer.
Yeah, they do. They even have some pretty good classes down there, too. They have some good classes in archaeology and anthropology and history. You don't hear much about that, though.
No.
Because a lot of those guys can't make that three-point shot, so.
Now, let's see. The Union College is in
They're in the Frozen Four.
the Frozen Four. And here's a school that gives no athletic scholarships whatsoever. Their hockey team has an average cum of like 3.6 or something. Those are the kind of stories I like to see.
Yes, you do, because those are student athletes, as opposed to athletes that happen to reside on campus.
All right.
Hey, what do you think about the college Division I players unionizing?
What?
It doesn't.
You didn't hear about?
No. How can they unionize? They don't get paid. How do
They
unionize?
Northwestern
Scholarship players get paid.
filed suit, and they've been recognized as a union, and it looks like there'll be other.
I don't see how they could operate.
We got time for a last call there.
Go ahead.
This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Yes, Bob, I have a question for you. Do you think Putin's going to keep going, and if so, how far? I'll hang up and wait for your answer.
He's gonna keep Crimea, and that'll be it. And he'll get the Nobel Peace Prize for only keeping Crimea. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Okay. Well, we'll see how. See if you're right.
He's trying for the other border towns, so.
Yeah, but they're.
Yeah.
Get back to unionization.
He's got Latvia under control. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you ran it over.
No,
It's all right.
We
It's
got
all
a
right.
minute.
The union, they've been recognized, and they're going to be able to vote as players to whether or not they're actually going to form a union.
Yeah.
And they'll have to, the university then, if that goes through, would have to negotiate with them in terms of employment as far as salary and benefits.
That's outrageous.
Because they're saying the universities are making millions of dollars off us, and all we get are our scholarships.
And they're saying the scholarships is a type of pay. They're getting paid by scholarship.
I'll bet Jeff Stark's behind this. We'll be back next week at 10 o'clock. This is our new and permanent time, I think. This is Bob Going with Jim Nikosha and Gavin Murdoch. Come back on next Tuesday for more of the show with no name.